Tell me about cognitive architectures. What differentiates that paradigm of thinking compared to deep learning?
With cognitive architecture, you don't need massive amounts of data. You can potentially tell it once or show it once, one picture of a giraffe, or tell it a sentence once, and it will learn that. And if it can't understand it, it might ask for clarification straight away. So the interactive, proactive learning, real-time learning capability is a key differentiator. And actually a couple of things that come with that. First of all, the ability to learn with just hearing a sentence once or getting one example requires a completely different approach. But then you also need the ability to know what you don't know. The system needs to know whether it's understanding something or whether it needs more information. So it needs to be able to reason about what it heard or what it saw, and to then ask for clarification if it needs it. Like when we're having a conversation on, I might say something that I didn't give you enough context, or you don't know the word, or something doesn't make sense, or I misspoke, or whatever. Now, if we're having a real active conversation, you will then stop and ask, did you mean this, or did you mean that, or can you explain that to me? Right. That's how an interactive conversation has to happen. And deep learning doesn't have any of those abilities. It doesn't have the ability to learn interactively, with just hearing a sentence or seeing a picture. It doesn't have the ability to reason, to disambiguate, to really have an interactive conversation. And those are really key differences.
How do you introduce that kind of interaction into the system?
It's a fundamentally different architecture. You basically, that's why we call it a cognitive architecture, whereas the other one is deep learning, machine learning. But what it really is, it's a hierarchical, fixed hierarchy of a neural network that is trained once and then it executes. So it does not have the mechanisms inherently to learn interactively or to reason. Whereas a cognitive architecture approach, you start off by saying, what are the essentials for intelligence? And it is to be able to learn interactively, to be able to disambiguate, to clarify, to have context. So this one sentence said in one context may have a very different meaning from it being said in another context. So you need that contextual awareness as well, and to know, are we talking about something business related, or are we talking about, something private, personal, family. So it's those components that you need for intelligence: learning, reasoning, context, short-term memory, long-term memory, the ability to disambiguate and clarify, that really makes it a completely different approach.